Hi, welcome back to Buckeye Gardener channel. Today I'm going to show you how I do my tomatoes and peppers. You see my tomatoes already. I've got a layer of newspaper and then grass clippings down around them already. And I do that to help keep moisture in, keep some weeds out. And it really works great. You see them tomatoes are really taking off. We'll do work on the peppers today. I didn't get a chance to video the tomatoes, so I'll video this and show you how I do it. But first, it was pretty wet when I planted the garden. It's pretty lumpy in there. I might go grab my big tiller and run through there a couple times just to break up in between the rows and try to keep the weeds down. So let me go get that, and then I'll show you how I do the newspaper and grass clippings. Okay, I got that big tiller run through there. It's still pretty lumpy. It was too wet the day I planted the garden, but I had to do it that day. So sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do, but it's a little bit better. The reason I want to do that is I want a little bit of fine dirt. You'll see when I do it here. When I put the newspaper down, I'll sprinkle just a little bit, and all that's gonna do is keep the wind from blowing it away until I get the grass clippings and everything down on it. So I'm gonna show you, this is all the fertilizer I'm gonna use all year on these peppers. I think when I planted these, I showed you in the video, I put some fertilizer in with this one, but I'm gonna go ahead and put just a little bit on top. All I do is just take a little bit around the top. All right, now that might look like a lot, but that's organic fertilizer. It's pretty weak. That's all they're gonna get all year. So I'm just gonna go sprinkle a little bit on them right now. About 4 inches away from the plant, all the way down both rows. And then I'll take my little 4-prong hoe or my single tine and scratch it all in. And then I'll get the newspaper and grass clippings ready. And I'll show you how we do that. Okay, I took my 4-prong hoe. I went around all my plants, scratched that fertilizer down there and broke up some of the weeds and stuff. These little weeds here are only covered with newspaper. They're gonna die anyway. So what I do is I take my newspaper. You see the wind's blowing today, so it's gonna be a little bit of a struggle. The main reason I didn't film the video for the tomatoes is because it was really windy that day. It was almost too windy to do this, but I needed to get it done. So I didn't even try the video because I was just fighting the paper all day. So all I do is just take a couple sprinkles of dirt and lay on it. And all that's gonna do is hold it down until we get the grass clippings on. And then they'll hold it down after that. So we'll just go along. See, I tore that to get around that plant a little bit. So I'll just take this half piece, lay right here. Now I've got my peppers a little close. I'm not sure why, but I planted 32 pepper plants this year. And I don't even know why. I don't think I meant to plant that many until I got them all on the ground. And I got them a little close on spacing, but I like to make some hot pepper mustard. I might do a video on that. It is the best hot pepper mustard there is. And I made some hot sauce last year, some candied jalapenos. So I'd like to can them and save them and use them some. So I'll probably use them, but that's a lot of pepper plants. I got them a little too close. Usually my tomatoes I put about 18 inches apart, and you can almost get a full sheet of paper in between them. We do, you just tear a little bit, just overlap it, it goes real quick. So I'll go down these 2 rows, put this on, and I'll show you how to do the grass clippings, and then we'll see about getting some water on them, because as you can see, this ground is really dry. So they probably need a little drink too after this. Probably help them out. I want to take a second and apologize. I didn't realize till after I filmed this that these next few clips of me spreading the grass clippings, the remote to turn the recording on and off was in my pocket. So it cuts in and out. I'm sorry about that. I didn't realize it until I got all done and got back to the house, and I already had all the grass clippings down, so I couldn't do it again. So sorry about that, but if you watch, you can kind of see what I'm doing there. Thanks. Okay, so I got my newspaper. I got 2 rows about halfway down. I stopped because I want to get some grass on them. I learned a long time ago that you want to get some grass on them before the wind picks up, because the little gust of wind comes, they'll start ripping that paper up and you're in trouble. So I just got a little bit done. I was going to show you. I took a lawn sweeper here. I mowed this yesterday. So it's already pretty dry. It's pretty dry here where we're at. So I usually just come in, we'll take a big scoop, we'll just lay here. I'll come back and spread it with my hand here in a second. Now you can use anything for this. My dad uses hay. He's used hay for years and years and years. I used straw one year. I will say with hay and straw that you'll get the seeds that's inside of it, and they'll want to sprout their own. I did straw one year, and anywhere the newspaper wasn't, like along the edges, it was sprouting like crazy. My dad always does hay. Like I said, you get seeds with that too, but it works fine. I have an abundant supply of grass clippings with my yard, so I bought a lawn sweeper years ago just for this reason. The grass clippings don't really bother me if I leave them in the yard, but if I can reuse them for the garden like this, it works great. And there's hardly any seeds. I know some grass is really seedy, but whatever's in my yard isn't. And it works pretty good. So I'll just go along, plop some down. I'll go back with my hand, spread it out. Now you don't want it right on the plant. Spread it out evenly. Just keep it off the plant a little bit. It helps the water get right down. Now I tried to only keep one layer of newspaper also, if you threw it. So I'll just spread some out with my pitchfork, go back, cover it up like this. Like I said, just don't get rid. Okay, so here's the end result after putting down my layer of newspaper and my grass clippings on there. My grass clippings I put on about 3 inches thick or so, light and fluffy. They'll mash down. You can see a difference here already. We get down there. See how high these are? Well, these tomatoes were the same height when I put them on. You can see they're down about 1 inch thick now, but it's down making a good base. Let's see if there's any moisture down in here. I haven't checked, but I'm assuming. Look at that. This is on the end too, but look how moist that is down there compared to the rest of the garden. What a difference. Like I said, we haven't had any rain for about 1.5 weeks, and we're not supposed to have any for another 1.5 weeks or 2 weeks. So I'm getting ready to drag my water hose out, and I'm gonna give these a good coat. Now you'll see, you see down here, there's some yellow rebar laying across that I use for my tomato stakes. After I put this down, I usually lay that on top until we get a couple good rains. That way it mashes down. So if not, the wind will catch it sometimes and blow it all off there. But once it gets rained on good. But it's so dry out, I'm gonna drag the water hose out and give these a good drink. They need it anyway. So I'll give those a drink. I'm pretty much gonna water everything. I'll give you a quick tour. The beans are coming up. They didn't come up real evenly. Now I planted those with my wheel hoe, and the garden was kind of lumpy. Or not my wheel hoe, sorry. I planted those with my walk behind cedar. And the garden's kind of lumpy. I don't know if that was part of it or not. They didn't come up real evenly, but there's enough there for what we need for. So cucumbers are looking terrible still. I don't know what they need. Maybe I didn't get them hardened off all the way before I got them out here. That's a possibility. Okra is taking off. I put in. Zucchini's looking good down there. I'm about ready to put some newspaper and grass clippings around them, but I think I'll let them go for a week. The corn's popping up, you can see. I'm getting ready to run my wheel hoe through that. Get that, there's some wee little tiny weeds starting in the middle. We'll go ahead and wheel hoe that, and here in a couple weeks, we'll be ready to hill that with the my high arch wheel hoe I built a couple years ago with some fertilizer. They'll be ready to go. Watermelons are doing okay. I think I lost a couple of them. They're doing all right. It's been really hot and dry here, so broccoli's looking awesome. If you look down in there, it's hard to see. I can't get real close, but you can see some little tiny heads starting to form, so it's looking really good. Snap peas, I see a couple blooms on them. Like I said, I showed you another video where I hilled these potatoes with the little Manus tiller. Did that 60 feet of them in 5 minutes, so that's the way to do that. And onions are looking really good too. I'm gonna give them a good drink, they're pretty dry. Beets have really taken off on the other end, so that's how everything's going so far. So that's how I do my tomatoes and peppers. Like I said, layer newspaper, 3 or 4 inches of grass clippings on top, really helps keep that moisture down in the ground. Really makes a big difference when it gets hot and dry here this summer. Like I said, it's really dry for this time of year. Usually it's not this dry. Like I said, I will do that on my cucumbers and zucchini too. Once they get a little bit bigger, we'll let them go a little bit. I hate to get them on when they're too small and then they don't get enough sunlight because the grass kind of gets up around them. So anyhow, I'm gonna run the wheel hoe through the corn here and get my hose out and give everything a good drink here, and it'll all be good for a week or so. So I did another video on hilling the potatoes if you're interested in that. It turned out really good. So check out my other videos, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.